Networking and marketing made simple is for you, the business owner who has a product, a service, or a message that you believe in. My name is Scott Aaron, and each week we'll take a behind-the-scenes look into the real-world marketing and networking tactics and strategies for getting what you have in front of you to a lot more people. Thanks for spending time with me, and now let's get started. So before we dive into today's podcast, I just want to let you know that I am grateful and honored again to have Spotify as my sponsor for this podcast episode and future episodes. And the big question that people always ask me is, how do you get started with a podcast? Well, what I want to tell you is that there's an all-in-one place that's absolutely free, and it's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here's how it works. And this is exactly how I got started with mine. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. I started with my phone, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating it right away. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple, everywhere your podcast can be heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take your conversations with your fans to the next level, like I like to, you can do Q&A, you can do polls, and that's the best way to get people talking. And with Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads like this, podcast subscriptions, and so much more. And best of all, it's totally free, no catch. And again, I have now eclipsed 500,000 listens on this podcast. So I want to thank each and every one of you. I could not recommend this anymore. And if you are listening to this and you are ready to start your podcast, start today. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started right away. And I cannot wait to listen to yours. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Networking and Marketing Made Simple. Super excited for today's episode and what we are going to be covering today. What we are going to be covering today are the 4 ways that people typically get blocked or restricted on LinkedIn and how you can avoid falling into one of those 4 categories. But before we dive in, just a quick reminder, if you would like to join the nearly 300 people registered for our Simple Content Creation Workshop that starts today at 1 p.m. EDT to 2 p.m. EDT today through Thursday, completely free. Just go to the description of this episode, grab the registration link, fill out your information, get your workbook, and we'll see you today at 1 o'clock EDT for the first private live and recorded Zoom session. So again, if interested in learning how to create better content for social media, just go to the description of the episode and get yourself registered. So let's dive into the 4 ways of how people are getting blocked and restricted on LinkedIn. So I'm just going to get ahead of everything, and I'm going to go over probably the biggest one that people still push back against, and that is violating the user agreement. Now, all you have to do, and again, I've talked about this before. If you just Google LinkedIn user agreement and you go to that page and you click on the do's and do nots, if you click on the do nots, it clearly states this number 1 big thing that people are doing wrong. And you cannot be developing or using any automated software that connects and messages for you. Now, you are going to hear contradictive statements on this topic, meaning there are marketing companies, there are individuals that are producing software, or companies are going in and they are automating this process. Anyone that opens up an account on LinkedIn that clicks that user agreement checkbox, you agree to not use any automated software that connects and messages for you. So you can't have any of that attached to your account. Now, if LinkedIn finds out, they don't restrict you, they don't block you, they delete your account totally. And there's no way to retrieve it back, because that is probably the biggest violation. So if you are hearing from anyone that they are following all of the guidelines of what you shouldn't and should be doing on LinkedIn, but they're using automated software to connect and message for you, They are lying. So if you've been tempted to streamline your process by automating one of the most important aspects of your business, which is creating organic human connection with other people by using software that connects and messages for you, please don't do that. I do not want to see your account get removed from LinkedIn. So that's number one. Number two, do not go over the sent connection weekly limit. So some of you may have not known this. Well, back in the day, I'll say, it was the wild, wild west on LinkedIn in respect to the fact that there was no connection limit on LinkedIn. You could literally send as many connections as you wanted to. People were sending thousands a day. And thankfully, LinkedIn has put a restriction on the amount of connection requests that we can send any given week, Monday through Sunday, and that is 100. You should not send over 100 connection requests in a given week. If you do, and they catch you, which they always do, you will get a 1-day restriction or 24-hour restriction from sending connection requests. If you do it a second time, they will restrict you for a full week. You do it a third time, they'll restrict you for a full month. And if you do it for a fourth and final time, you will have a permanent restriction of sending connection requests ever again on LinkedIn. So just don't go over 100. It's that easy. If you're going to be connecting with people Monday through Friday, send less than 20 connection requests a day. It's my best advice for you. Don't go over the 100 connection per week limit on LinkedIn. Number 3, you can get restricted on LinkedIn for viewing too many profiles of people that you are not connected to. Now, some of you listening to this may have experienced that. You may get this weird restriction and notice from LinkedIn saying, hey, we've permanently restricted your account because we're picking up some strange activity, blah, blah, blah. We want to make sure that you're not using software that's viewing a ton of profiles. Here's the thing. Any of your first level connections, you are freely allowed to look at those people's profiles because they've accepted your connection, or you've accepted theirs, your connection. What a lot of people try to do is they try to vet out their connections by, as they do a search, or if they're using the My Network area, they click on every single one of those connections profiles to kind of vet out, is this someone that I want to connect with? Are they not? This, that, or the other. Listen, I get it. You want to kind of make sure that the quality of the people that you're inviting into your network is where you want it to be. But if you click on too many profiles of people that you're not connected to in too short of amount of time, they will block and restrict your account. So what you can do to combat this is, number 1, don't do it. Or number 2, if you're going to do it, make sure that you only look at maybe 2 or 3 profiles in a row in a given amount of time, wait a couple hours, and then you can do it again. So that's my best advice of how to not get restricted that way. Fourth and final, if you're sending out connection requests each week on LinkedIn, you're going to have a handful that accept, and you're going to have a greater amount that don't. So it brings up the question, well, where did those connection requests go that are unaccepted? Great question. If you click on the My Network section of your LinkedIn profile or LinkedIn desktop version, and you click on the right-hand side of your invitations where it says See All or Manage, that will take you into where you have received connection requests and sent connection requests. Here's the thing. If you don't go in at the end of every month and withdraw all of the connection requests that have been sitting there for weeks and months, and they continue to mount up, LinkedIn will restrict your account from sending more until you go in and clear them out. But here's the caveat. You have to remove every single one of those connection requests by hand, one at a time. So if you have 1,000 unaccepted connection requests, not only is your account restricted, but you got to go through the tedious activity of individually withdrawing every single one of those sent requests. This is why LinkedIn has made it a 100 a week connection limit, but also there was a feature where you can select 100 connection requests at a time and withdraw. So that would take literally 2 seconds. But to prevent people from sending too many connection requests in a given week, month, and ongoing each year, they've made us have to remove those connection requests one at a time by hand. So, again, the 4 ways, amongst others, that you can get blocked and restricted on LinkedIn. You violate the user agreement by using software that connects and messages for you. Number 2, you go over the 100 per week connection limit. Number 3, you view too many profiles of people that you're not connected to. And number 4, you do not withdraw any of your unaccepted connection requests that are mounting up in your sent requests area within LinkedIn. So again, use those tips to your advantage. I don't want to see any of you get in trouble on the platform. And reminder, today at 1 o'clock, we begin our simple content creation workshop. It's from today through Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. EDT, live and recorded. Replays are available until Sunday, July 30th at 9 p.m. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Love and gratitude, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much again for checking out today's episode. And if you are listening through iTunes, Spotify, wherever you are, please leave me a rating and review. Let me know what you loved, what you would like to see improved, or ideas you have for future episodes. And if you are interested in taking your business to the next level, don't hesitate to go to my website, www.scottaaron.net, where you can schedule a free discovery call with me, where I can learn more about you, your business, what you're struggling with, and how we can work together. And don't forget to check out my wife, Nancy, and mine, our free community on Facebook called LinkedIn Leads for Life. We would love to see you in there. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you, everyone, for your support. Grateful for each and every one of you.